If I may, perhaps the most difficult thing to consider in the book, and I think it's a thing that's going to be the most surprising to people. The book opens with an incredibly intimate series of scenes. One relates to music. One describes going to hear Alfie, perhaps the most beautiful song you and Hal written, or certainly among them, and hearing it being butchered, really, in your opinion,
Right.
and it being very difficult for you. And within hours, you describe the scene as your eldest daughter, Nikki, born very premature to your wife, Angie Dickinson. And you then go on to talk about the days of hoping and wishing, not to quote a song title there, but of being in the Premier Ward and singing to your daughter through the glass, not even a song you'd written yourself, make the deals that you made with nature or with God, that she would survive. And Nikki's troubles that stem from her early delivery reoccur in the book, and as I said, the other witnesses to your life reoccur and have critical things to say about you, and there are different points of view about how your daughter's life progressed and the difficulties that she had and the tragic end that it came to. Did you ever think that was just all going to be too raw for people to read and who have the image of you from your music?
No, because I think that was a true catharsis for me to have to go back and relive that whole period of Nikki's birth, of how difficult that whole life was, and her life, and how hard it was for her, and how hard it was for Angie, how hard it was for me, and to take it to something you never believed would ever happen, because it's like the boy who cried wolf, you know? You hear her say enough times, you know, if the goddamn helicopters keep going over my head like this anymore, I'm gonna kill myself.
You should explain, perhaps, for those that are listening that don't. She was diagnosed with
Asperger's, yes, very severe Asperger's. I never thought she'd kill herself, and so having to deal with that, the reality. I mean, if I was going to write a book, if I was going to make this, I wasn't going to cover up the pimples, the blemishes. It was all going to be honest. If I look real bad, now my kids will get to, these living kids will read, and they'll see what I was like, and they'll judge me. But I don't want to sugarcoat anything. All I did, I mean, there is one situation which is very painful, that when Nikki killed herself, she did it in an apartment in the valley with no one around. I didn't think she had the courage, or is it courage? Too much to live for. I mean, she liked movies, cats, going to Tahiti with her mom. Didn't think she could do it. And to do it with no one around, and left a note, which, I mean, it's no secret. You read the book, you'll see there is the note to Dad. Unopened, never read. I know what's in the note. I know what it says. And I accept it, you know. It's Jane, my wife, has hidden the note somewhere. And as I say, I don't need to read it. I know what it says. And all I did was try to get her well, try to get her better, try to get her with good therapy. And it was early in Asperger's, autism. Nobody really was spotting it at the time. If they were, they weren't saying anything. They were basically taking the money. Insurance would run out. The bottom line is Nikki could have been in therapy for 365 days a year and wouldn't have made any difference. Just so a very unfortunate ending. But it's very, very painful. I mean, listen, I love this girl. I wrote a theme called Nikki, and because I fell in love with all those nurses in the preemie ward that fought to keep her alive. And when we named her Leah, that's what Angie and we weren't supposed to name her because she wasn't supposed to get by the first night. Name her Nikki, they said, because that's the name the nurses came up with. Don't fight with the nurses. Her name became Nikki, and I went to England and wrote this melody, and it became Nikki,